Subway attack in New York as a suspect was finally arrested. We have the details.
Can your FitBit help detect a heartbeat irregularity? Find out more later in the show.
And grab your wallets and head on over, as this RT campus event is one you definitely don't want to miss. Stay tuned because I've got the details.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Christine Guevara.
And I'm Ashton Cotton.
The search for the man responsible for the New York subway shooting has come to an end after the suspect called in a tip that led to his own arrest. He has been taken into custody and now faces federal charges. Karen Kaifa with CNN is at the federal courthouse with more.
Fellow New Yorkers, we got him. We got him.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams praising local, state, and federal law enforcement at the end of the manhunt for 62-year-old Frank James, the suspect in Tuesday morning's rush hour subway attack in Brooklyn. James was arrested by NYPD officers without incident just before 2 on Wednesday afternoon. The arrest hours after officials elevated James from a person of interest to a suspect and sent an emergency alert that set phones across the city buzzing that James was a wanted man. Law enforcement sources say James called in a tip to the city's Crime Stoppers hotline that he was in a McDonald's in Manhattan's East Village. Police say officers didn't find him there, but around the corner.
We were able to shrink his world quickly. There was nowhere left for him to run.
Police have not specified a motive, but James has been linked to disturbing videos online talking about violence and mass shootings. Authorities believe James visited a storage unit in Philadelphia the night before the attack, where investigators found more ammunition and weapons. Sources say the gun investigators recovered at the scene was found to be purchased by the suspect in Ohio in 2011, and the gas mask was traced back to the suspect through an eBay account. With the suspect in custody, relief for New Yorkers.
We hope this arrest brings some solace to the victims and the people of the city of New York.
And Frank James has been in federal custody since yesterday. He is expected to make his first court appearance here at the Brooklyn courthouse behind me at some point today. Yesterday, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York says that James faces federal charges for violating a law that prohibits violent attacks against mass transportation systems. The attorney says he also could face life in prison if he's convicted on the charges. In Brooklyn, New York, I'm Karen Kaifa.
James will be charged on multiple counts, including charges of terrorism and crossing state lines with a firearm. Police say James had been arrested 9 times previously. If convicted, he could face life in prison.
The first set of migrant buses from Texas have reached Washington, D.C. The buses were sent by Texas Governor Greg Abbott through a voluntary transfer program of immigrants who cross into the United States illegally. Abbott has previously spoken out against Biden's decision to retract Title 42, a Trump-era policy that kept immigrants seeking asylum out of the U.S. Abbott said his state shouldn't have to, quote, bear the burden of the Biden administration's failure to secure our border, end quote. Officials from multiple D.C. Catholic charities met the immigrants in D.C. to provide food and medical care for those who need it. There has been no comment from either Department of Homeland Security or U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement so far.
Democratic Party officials approved a plan Wednesday that may shake up the presidential primary calendar. The plan does away with the traditional early states that hold caucuses first every election and instead focus on the more diverse battleground states. Those new states would not hold caucuses, but instead hold their primaries early. States would apply for early primaries, and officials would pick up to 5. Any state can apply, and the decisions will be based off of state diversity and representation, as well as the state's ability to effectively hold early primaries. State parties will have until June 3rd. The Rules Committee will decide in July, and the final approval will be done in August or September.
You know, it seems like the cold weather is finally behind us. Wouldn't you agree, Christine?
Definitely. I'm done with that gloomy weather and I'm so ready for the sunshine. Let's toss it over to our weather anchor, Maya Nicholson, to see what we can expect. Maya?
A
have a good feeling about that thought. Let's check out our first look forecast to see what we should expect for today. Right now outside, our temperatures are 70 degrees, feeling like 77. Later on this evening, we should expect those temperatures to rise throughout the day to around 80 degrees. Around 8 p.m., those temperatures are going to be at 72 degrees, feeling like 69. Tomorrow morning, we should have clear skies and low temperatures at 58 degrees. That's all I have for my first look forecast. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Maya. The weather is looking pretty nice today, and I bet our live shot reporter Cameron Bias is enjoying the sunshine as well. I know he's at a local event known as the Art Mart. Cameron, what can you tell us about that event?
Hey Christine, I'm currently standing here outside the UNT Art Mart, and if you're looking for anything to spice up your room, this event may be exactly what you're looking for. Live right now in the Library Mall on campus, over 70 local art vendors are out and selling their work until 6 p.m. this evening. The Art Mart will also be featuring Dirty Dan and the Basketball Boys, a local indie band. And if you so happen to get hungry while browsing, don't worry because there will be free popcorn and paletas provided for all. That is everything I have for now, and back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Cameron. I'll for sure check out the Art Mart after the show. Coming up, the next time you go grocery shopping, you may pay a little bit more than you expect.
And a new feature is coming to FitBit watches that could save your life. Find out how after the break.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Filling up your fridge is emptying your wallet more quickly. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, groceries shot up 10% in the last year. The most expensive items are eggs, flours, milk, and even bacon. Reasons for these price increases are drought affecting crops and even the Russo-Ukrainian war, which has affected global wheat production. Food price increased nearly 9% from March 2021 to March 2022. The BLS says that this is the largest 12-month hike in prices since 1981. In addition to an increase in groceries, you might also be paying a little bit more for Amazon deliveries. The mega corporation told sellers yesterday that this is adding a 5% fuel and inflation surcharge. This only applies to the products that the supergiant stores and ships for sellers, not the items that are only listed and sold on the site. Buyers are unlikely to see this charge immediately, as the sellers are likely to raise their prices to cover the added expense. This new charge is set to take place 2 weeks from today on April 28th.
The FDA has approved a new feature for Fitbits, one that monitors heart rhythms. According to Fitbit, the new algorithm assesses volume changes in the wearer's blood, which then determines heart rhythms. The device will then alert the user if it detects atrial fibrillation, or AFib, which is a type of irregular heartbeat. More than 33 million people are affected by a fib, and those with the disorder are 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Clearance for this new feature comes after a lengthy debate where health insurance companies have made a push to gather data from smartwatches like FitBits or Apple Watches, which they could use to analyze consumers' health. This data could be used to deny coverage for those with heart irregularities or other underlying health conditions. Currently, data from your Fitbit can only be provided to healthcare providers voluntarily. Now, the Young Conservatives of Texas are suing UNT for what is being described as a non-resident tuition scheme. Sean Jordan, a U.S. district judge appointed by former President Donald Trump, has ruled that UNT can't charge out-of-state students higher tuition than undocumented non-students. And to understand the case that may change the Lone Star State's academic system entirely, we must jump back to 2001, when legislators passed the Texas DREAM Act. For 22 years, this law has allowed for migrants to pay in-state tuition if they've lived in Texas for 3 years and graduated from a Texas high school, which means that immigrants and documented Texans alike are paying an average of $12,000 in tuition and fees, while out-of-state tuitions are paying upward of $24,000 a semester. Now, Judge Jordan has ruled the Texas DREAM Act as unconstitutional. But what has UNT done in response? In their only public acknowledgement, UNT said attorneys are reviewing the ruling and have filed a notice of appeal. Lawyers argued that this ruling will force the university to incur millions in lost revenue, which the judge rejected, stating budgetary constraints do not absolve constitutional violations. We will continue to follow this story and provide updates as they come. Now, you know, Ashton, I am taking my senior picture Saturday, and I'm crossing my fingers that the weather will cooperate.
Actually, I do have a photo shoot as well. I'm kind of hoping Mother Nature is on our side. But let's toss it over to our weather anchor, Maya Nicholson, for the full weather forecast. Maya, what can you tell us?
We should be able to find an answer to your question within our full weather forecast. Looking at our current conditions across North Texas, we can see that we have 70 degrees in Fort Worth, 65 degrees in McKinney, and 69 degrees in Sherman. Looking out across the state, we have 69 degrees in Abilene, and our lowest temperatures are in Amarillo at 60 degrees. Finishing off with our 7-day forecast, tomorrow our temperatures are going to be quite warm throughout the day with a high of 86 and a low of 70 degrees. We should expect similar and sunny days and temperatures around 80 degrees throughout the week, with some clouds coming out Sunday and Wednesday. As of now, Wednesday has a 56% chance of warm showers with a high of 80 and a low of 64 degrees. Sounds like it's great weather for you to take those pictures. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Maya. New data has been released regarding COVID booster shots for kids 5 to 11. The study shows a third shot of Pfizer children vaccine led to a 36-fold increase in Omicron-fighting antibodies. The results are positive, but a sample size of less than 30 kids. Pfizer is not ready to release the booster to the general public yet. Pfizer is, however, planning on submitting the booster shot for emergency use in the coming days. Booster days are already approved for those ages 12 and up.
America is currently facing the worst blood shortage in over a decade, posing a risk to millions of patients in need of blood. And the critical need for blood in North Texas is no different. Healthcare officials say that at this time of the year, the need for blood spikes due to an increase of traumatic injuries. ntTV's Hannah Gonzalez tells us more.
Once the weather starts warming up is when we see an increase in trauma.
With spring upon us, many are out soaking up the sun. On the other hand, many hospitals are struggling to keep up with the demand while still facing a national blood shortage from the pandemic.
It did get critically low for all centers. You know, we use American Red Cross, but there's also Carter Blood Care, and everyone was in need of blood donors.
Linda Golzer from Carter Blood Care states how they were affected by the pandemic.
Thousands of blood drives and thousands of units of blood were lost in 2020, didn't pick up much more in 2021. And then in 2022, as we begin to get a little bit more back to normal, we still have a lot of people doing business virtually. So of course, we're not doing many blood drives at places of business still.
With the shortage of blood, elective procedures were halted to ration blood needed for emergencies.
What we're facing is an essential product, an essential part of medical care that cannot be manufactured. And so we rely on generous human beings to donate their blood, and that's the only way we can get it.
However, the most common excuse when avoiding blood donations is a fear of needles.
What I usually ask people to do is think about the person on the other end of that equation. Think about those little babies that are 2 and 3 days old that might need a transfusion. Think of a person who's undergoing treatment for cancer and all the things that go with that we hear about from friends or from other people who've experienced it. It's not an easy road. And if that person can endure what they endure, and trying to stay healthy and get healthy. Just a brief moment in time that we undergo a needle stick should be nothing compared to that.
Typically, a pint of blood is taken during a donation. It could save up to 3 lives. If you're eligible to donate and live in the area, you can visit either the Red Cross or the Carter Blood Care Center here in Denton.
Coming up, we may just have your new favorite spot to eat.
And find out what furry surprise was awaiting firefighters later in the show.
Hey man, are you okay in there? You look terrible. Have you been up all night? Don't you know that according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, staying up all night can have a negative effect on your GPA?
Sleep?
Yeah, go to bed.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Eh? Eh?
Near Sanctus Spiritus.
I've got a good feeling about this one.
Hey, Maddie, miss me?
Wait, Bud?
What was that all about?
An old friend.
An old friend?
Good to see you, brother.
What the hell are you doing?
That's your lucky day.
With all of the warm weather that was mentioned a little earlier, I wonder if it's finally nice enough outside to start eating.
It definitely is. And even better, our segment anchor, Sydney Applegate, seems to have the perfect place with beautiful patio seating in mind. Sydney?
That's right, Christine. Patio weather is in full effect, and I have all the details on an adorable lunch and dinner spot, sure to make your outside dining dreams come true. Take a look.
Tired of the same old eating spot, but still having a hard time picking out what you want to eat? Let me introduce you to Greenhouse Restaurant.
I put myself through school working in restaurants, and I thought it would be a good idea to have my own
business, and so I found this place in '97 and opened it in '98.
Located just off the Denton Square on North Locust Street, Greenhouse has been a cute, family-friendly spot to grab lunch or dinner for over 20 years, and the owner shared a little bit about the history of the restaurant and its humble beginnings.
This used to be a flower shop, the Selby Flower Shop, and if you look on the walls up here, you can see the outlines of the old greenhouses that were here. That's where the name came from.
Every time you visit Greenhouse, the menu is vast enough to allow you the chance to find multiple favorite dishes and try something new.
Most of the restaurants I worked in have wood-fired grills. We have a wood-fired grill, we burn mesquite, we cook a lot of things over an open fire. And I also wanted to have vegetarian dishes because I know within each family, not everybody's a meat eater, not everybody's a vegetarian. So we tried to break it up and kind of have a little something for everybody.
Upon request, the restaurant also has a private room for special events like graduation parties, and on either side of the building, there is beautiful patio seating to enjoy in the warmer weather.
Sitting out on that patio in the evening when the sun's going down, it's a pretty special way to experience downtown Denton.
Greenhouse is open from 11 a.m. through 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, ready to serve you the best of whatever your heart desires.
My friend and I actually stopped by last night and it was wonderful. I highly suggest trying their bacon mac and cheese when you get the chance. That's all for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. I'll have to check that place out myself. It sounds really good.
I also hear they have like a bar. Maybe we can catch like a game or two sometime.
Well, I'm gonna have to take a rain check on that, but if you run me back in about 2 years, I'll be there for sure.
Okay.
But in 2 minutes, I have everything you need to know about the sports world. Stick around for more.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
The Dallas Stars hosted the two-time defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning in a close contest in the late season playoff push. The Stars faced off against a Lightning team still fighting for a playoff spot in the Atlantic Division. The lone goal in the game came from Rupe Hintz off assists from Joe Pavelski and Jason Robertson. The Stars then held off lightning quick attacks from Tampa Bay to hold on to a 1-0 victory over the reigning champions. The Stars sit in the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference with a game in hand over the Las Vegas Golden Knights. With just a little over 2 weeks left in the NHL season, the Stars will drop the puck again tonight on home ice against the Minnesota Wild at 7 p.m. Global superstar Cristiano Ronaldo found himself embroiled in controversy after a fan video depicts a Manchester United star smashing a phone out of a young fan's hand. The incident took place while Ronaldo was limping down the visitors' tunnel following a Manchester United match in Liverpool versus Everton. Videos of the event spread all over social media, and an investigation was launched by Merseyside police. The mother of the 14-year-old boy, Sarah Kelly, stated her son, Jake Harding, has autism and it was his first match at Goodison Park. Kelly also stated she declined an offer from both Manchester United and Cristiano Ronaldo to meet, claiming she was unsatisfied with the response by either party. But Kelly and Harding were both eager to accept signed jerseys from Everton players Jordan Pickford and Richarlison, match tickets, and the opportunity to meet club players in the future. With just 2 weeks left in the Texas UIL district calendar, many high schools in North Texas are looking to secure their spots in the playoffs. In District 6 5A, the Denton Broncos are looking to keep up in the district title race tonight at 7 p.m. versus the Justin Northwest Texans. The Denton Ryan Raiders aren't looking too good in the standings with a 2-7 record, but a game tonight versus the Colleyville Heritage Panthers can cause major shifts in the playoff standings. And now going on up to District 5 6A, Denton Geyer Wildcats will be traveling to Grand Prairie to take on the District 8 6A leading South Grand Prairie Warriors in a potential playoff preview game. Now that's all I have for sports. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Sebastian. In Sacramento, fire crews extinguished a homeless debris fire, but what they found in the chaos was something you might not expect: a furry little friend. Luckily, the puppy was even and fostered in. Take a look at how the rescue story became a man's new best friend.
Ready to play after a pretty rough day.
He had a lot more plastic, burned plastic, on the top of his fur area, on his back, top of his head. He's still got a little bit down below, a little burn on the back, hind leg.
Sacramento fire crews rescued this little guy during a homeless debris fire Tuesday. The captain on the scene knew man's best friend needed a good friend, so he called Mike Thawley at Station 19.
Said, "Do you want him?" I said, "Yes."
Thawley is fostering the pup while Front Street Animal Shelter finds him a forever home, and he's already making himself pretty comfortable.
Perked up pretty good after we gave some water, some food, gave him a bath, started picking off some of the plastic. And then yesterday, kind of personality started coming out, following us around, tail wagging.
This isn't the first time Thawley has fostered a dog Cruz rescued. 5 years ago, he took in Chunk, an abandoned pit bull chained to a fence off Richards Boulevard.
Chunk had no hair, had mange.
Thawley is an advocate for pit bulls. He knew right away she was home, and that's where she's been ever since. He documented her journey on social media.
We had well over 30 million people following Chunk. Donations into Front Street, donations to the bully rescues. Chunk had a 2-page article in Women's World magazine. Our crew got an award from PETA.
He says it's a doggone shame someone would leave a puppy in such bad conditions, but hopes the rescue tells a tale of how people can help other rescue and shelter animals.
Wow, what a beautiful rescue story. It makes me want to adopt a puppy now.
Yeah, I want like a golden doodle or like a schnauzer.
Ooh, I don't know what I'd want. Maybe like a corgi?
Or like a
I don't know.
Something like that.
Okay, I'll look into that. Thanks for watching ntTV News at noon.
Join us again here tonight at 6 here on North Texas Television.